thank you for doing this space with us. We'll go ahead and kind of get started here. And one thing I always like to note is we do record these, so know that we're going to have more people hearing this than just who joins the space. But so that's one thing to consider there. But thanks again for joining us. Wanted to quickly give you the chance to kind of explain a little bit about what we got going on here with Totem Earth and what you guys are looking to do.
Definitely. I'll just see if we can get these guys up to
sure.
speak.
You said Roundtable's one of them?
Yeah, Roundtable and Zayla and Xander as well.
Okay, Xander's still connecting, it says. One thing to note, everyone who is coming up, and some people forget about this, is you have to be on your cell phone. You can't be using this on PC. So,
what's up, everybody? Hopefully,
how's it going?
It's going well, man. Just out here with the team in a cabin, building.
Building a cabin or building the project?
Building the project. Enjoying the cabin.
Hopefully the cabin's still built. Good.
Yeah,
good.
It does its job.
What part of the world are you guys in right now?
Me and Xander and a couple of the squad are in Châtel, France right now, up in the Alps. And we're based in Portugal at the time, and our other partner, co-founder, Zayla, is currently in Hawaii.
Wow. Awesome places I would much rather be than Central Ohio right now. So I'm jealous of everybody in the project. So, well, great. I think we got everyone here on the team. Go ahead and just quickly just ask for a quick walkthrough of what you guys are building here.
Yeah, of course. So we're building a community network and creator toolkit called Totem. And basically like a operating system, like a web-based operating system that will kind of sync a bunch of Web3 tools together in one place. And we're just finding like that's a big issue in the market right now, as creators are having to move people off of social media apps in order to convert and exchange value with their audience. And Web3 projects and SaaS tools are all siloed. And so we're connecting it all into a beautiful interface and reimagining a digital landscape that can kind of bring people together and seed ideas to life, and just building use cases. And they like it. Sounds like your dogs like it, Ryan.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I was just saying we're building a bunch of the tools that we think are kind of missing in this space. So we're building a community builder so anyone can plug in their NFT smart contract and instantly have a hub for their network that's gated or ungated, Web 2 or Web 3, whatever they like, and then instantly provide layers of utility and offerings and media for their community. And then they're kind of able to connect with other communities through the feed, through the feeless marketplace that we're launching. So we have a multi-chain NFT marketplace that mirrors something similar to OpenSea, except there's trading and renting integrated into the platform. And a lot of our offerings that will be inside this marketplace, in addition to hundreds of other collections that we have integrated already, will have direct utility and access and forgeability on the platform that they buy the items on. So we're trying to go after Instagram, YouTube, SaaS tools, ClickFunnels, web builders. We have like a modularity board tool that will, we think, change the social media space, allowing people to build outside of a 9-grid and a story feed, and build however they want on boards with easy widgets and click, drag, drop, stickers, text, font, video, whatever. So they can kind of curate their own boards, galleries, websites, conversion tools, and different things like that. So working with some blockchain companies to be the front end for their networks, and our citizen token is kind of like the native token that we're going to be integrating in different areas. So yeah, kind of full on.
Oh, it's an incredible undertaking for smaller group, not small group, but a smaller group like your all's. You kind of have Facebook trying to do the same, but like reverse engineering it, right? They're trying to be the social media of the metaverse and trying to capitalize on that. And you guys have like an independent team. Who's currently helping you guys get that achievement to make it there? Because I mean, it's a pretty daunting task to try to take on all these big giant corporations who are trying to do this in the space as well.
Yeah, I think that's just a part of like the archetypal story that happens with each evolution of technology. Is the underdog always takes the game, takes the throne. So we're feeling pretty confident in that sense. But we have a really good team of people behind us. Our first supporter and advisor and investor. His dad created Macintosh, and he created Social Dilemma and the Infinite Scroll and different things like that. So we have kind of we've been exploring and talking about social media and operating systems and what's missing in the space, and with people like that, some of the early League of Legends guys, Polygon. We met the founder of Polygon and his team, and the CEO of Polygon Studios. We're kind of our first investors in our token. So we had some people like that helped us kind of get started. And then obviously the Zoids were our first use case of how we could house an NFT collection and provide an ecosystem foundation. So we've been building all of the different tools and utilities for Zoids to kind of show how Totem could support it. And now we're about to open that up for any community to kind of replicate that. And we have a bunch of really cool things in AR and XR. We have a whole AR team that's being onboarded right now to Totem. And we'll have an app called Arc that's going live, where anyone can drop NFTs and assets in AR and use like the GPS and kind of like explore and bring people outside and get them like in the world with their tech. But right now we're doing an equity raise with big blockchain networks and stuff that we'll announce probably in 60 days or so. But they're like top 10 tokens and some really cool VCs and whatnot.
Well, it's incredible. And usually with these conversations with projects, it's really easy to kind of pinpoint in on one thing to kind of like talk about and kind of like bring out the conversation. But everything we've kind of just discussed and you've kind of brought up, it's so encompassing. There's so many things to kind of like tangents and threads to kind of go on. Is there one thing specifically that's coming soon that you guys want everyone to kind of be hyped about, or kind of have everyone know maybe that we should be focusing in on about the project?
Yeah, so we have kind of two major milestones coming up in the next, I'd say 6 months or so. We have our official like beta V1 that will kind of have all of the nuts and bolts that we can finally say, all right, we're ready for users. We're ready for people to start talking about this. And that will be rolled out over the next 90 days. So by November 1st, we'll pretty much have every piece of the V1 live. That'll include the marketplace, the community builder, the feed, the ability to follow others and share customizable boards of your NFTs. And then we'll start to roll out the new interface where people can basically create anything they want in their profiles and launch worlds and explore AR and different things like that. So I'd say, like, on a granular note, the main thing that people can get excited about is a free marketplace. It's completely feeless, besides the gas of whatever network you're choosing to mint or buy on. And then we'll be scaling that out, and we plan to keep that free, I think, as long as possible, probably, hopefully forever. And then in about probably a month or so, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, you'll be able to create your own community. And so if you have a NFT collection or you want to, you can easily mint one or just link your existing collection to its own framework. So you can kind of bring all of your people into one place rather than a Twitter, a Discord, a website that may or may not have a portal. And then the OpenSea, it's all in one place. And so provides a huge solution there. So we'll be onboarding a bunch of NFT communities, filling up the marketplace, and starting to see action and information shared across the feed over the next 60, 90 days. And then our one official like Totem platform will be live with modularity and a world builder and everything like that shortly into 2023.
Okay, that's incredible. Again, such a lot of things kind of happening for you guys. So I am on the app.totem.earth website. I signed up. I saw it said free mint, right? So I click on it. It takes me to obtain. So I can obtain D particle, hologenetics, NFT. And once I do it, it tells me, hey, you to mint this, you have to have X amount of citizen tokens. So can you kind of explain what citizen token is to the platform and how it's going to be used?
Yeah, so the Zod particles is what you're talking about. So there'll be certain exclusive or like niche offerings that will be exclusive to whatever token is kind of boosting that ecosystem. So the Zod particles are in relation to the lore and the gameplay that's being rolled out for our Zoids project. So Zoids is like kind of like our OG membership. They're like the ones that are building with us, and we're Zoids, and we're creating all the first use cases and like the premier experiences across Totem's ecosystem kind of go into the hands of the Zoids. It stands for Exodus ID, which is like the exodus of leaving this like distinct tech world that we've been in and kind of creating a new system together. So yeah, the Zod particles will be used to do different like staking enhancements, and they're meant for like the Zoids universe, and so that's why they're charged in citizen. But yeah, the hologenetics, I think, is the free claim that call to action was referring to, which is just an example and an opportunity to kind of grab an avatar and check out our XR alpha and kind of see what we can do as we prepare for our full-on world builder, which we're really stoked to announce a partnership with a gaming team that we'll be announcing probably in like the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Got it. Understood. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. As a matter of fact, I just minted my free claim here. So if you're listening to this and you want to jump right in, app.totem.earth/obtain, you can get your hologenetics little free claim here. Also, I wanted to bring attention to everyone listening. Right, there is a new feature with these spaces. This would be a great way to answer some questions maybe people have. But there is a chat feature here in the bottom corner of the space. So in the right-hand corner, you have a little chat bubble there. You can drop your questions or your comments there to further have the conversation. So just wanted to bring that up. Awesome. Again, there's just so much to talk about here. What kind of tools are you guys working with this platform right now? I know you mentioned kind of being an all-in-one place to bring all your tools. Is this something where you're collaborating with other tool projects, or is this something where you are kind of trying to become the one tool to rule them all, so to speak?
Yeah, we're definitely collaborators. We have different like bridges and multiple chains that Citizen is minted on, for example, and we use a bunch of different tags to life. Our goal is to basically provide kind of like the foundation, like we say with Totem, is we are now in the metaverse. Find your center, and that's kind of the idea of Totem. Is your profile and your meta ID is your totem. And that's like your pillar of truth and like the center of who you are and how you want the world to perceive you and interact with you, as well as interacting and joining with others in their totem and their mission. But Totem as an ecosystem is ideally the center of the metaverse. And this is a place where we can all come together and build life trusted tools, ideas, communities, basically like a neighborhood network, and looking at the world more as like a shared place and not all these siloed experiences and all this like hierarchy and whatnot. So we're trying to kind of build a space for people to come together, and we're talking with a bunch of protocols and chains, and nothing really can't be integrated into our platform. So I was just on the call with a different metaverse team that's working with Disney. And when the call me and my team are just like, you could just host all of what you just mentioned on Totem. Like, they can build their own metaverse if they'd wish, but I don't think that will be very successful for most of these projects. There's no point into being on like all these separate websites with all these separate protocols. It's like, it seems like a big opportunity for everyone to just come together outside of Meta, outside of Google, and just like build with people that are willing to hold space and co-collaborate. So we have a big studio team that's growing with artists and devs and builders of all types, and we have projects weekly, multiple projects coming to us asking for help, wanting to integrate, and so we're just gearing up for that scaling.
Right on. And you mentioned earlier Polygon is and that's the side chain you guys are using, right?
Yeah, we're using some of that for the in-game of our alpha. And then Polygon will also be one of the chains you can mint on our marketplace, as well as use inside of our Axis builder. So if you want to create an Axis with an NFT gated experience for people, but you don't want to use the ETH gas that's currently out there, you can use Polygon and mint a whole collection and gate it just the same way, just with cheaper gas. So Polygon's a big one. And we have like, we're coming out with something called thinking. So you can basically just like send Citizen across the platform to any profile on Citizen Binance chain. So there's different things we're doing like that with your gas options.
Okay, and right now, if I wanted to, because again, clicking the website, kind of looking through things, I see you can stake Citizen. Looks like some juicy APR. Even the liquidity pool for Citizen USDC, pretty juicy with over 100% APR. Obviously those things go down as time goes on, but is there a way to make Citizen or to earn Citizen, or is it one thing that you have to go ahead and buy on Uniswap?
There's definitely going to be plenty of opportunities to be awarded Citizen. We're coming up with a really cool model for the first 100,000 users and then the first million users. We're currently at almost 10,000 users. So really all the different utilities you see there, Zoids Axis, staking, various kinds, the XR portal, that's all completely alpha. So it's just basically us testing how all of these layers of utility can work: social commerce, tools, XR, voting, staking, DAO, governance, AR. Those are all things we're testing right now. But eventually you could plug in your community or your idea and then layer with whatever ones are relevant to you. So you can have your own AR lens, your own AR world, your own XR world, your own staking, your own this, your own that at scale. So that's basically how we've been testing it. So yeah, there's definitely like the ability to grab Citizen and stake it. And we feel like there'll be a lot of option in the future. But yeah, right now it's just pretty chill, to be honest.
It sounds like it. I can't imagine having all of these things that are like coming in the future, and like you're like, and this is not. I don't want this to sound like a slight to you at all, but you sound like chill, like super chill. I feel like if I had all these things that like my project,
I get pretty stressed out.
I was gonna say like if
Xander's the chill one.
Really well, man.
Xander's the chill one. That's because I'm in the Alps right now, and my birthday was 2 days ago, so I'm super chill. I've been taken care of, but Zayla and I are pretty hot-headed, and we're stressed out all the time. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty chill for a Monday.
Xander's the chill one, you say?
Yeah, me and Zayla just butt heads and then hug.
we just go at it all day.
Yeah, Zayla, I'd love for you to kind of chime in here too. Zayla's the one that's better at talking on AMAs. I'm just like,
yeah, I was just waking up. I been trying to get more rest over on the side and just get my brain all centered for this next phase, and been doing a lot of work on the back end with the boys and just kind of working with a bunch of different clients and getting everything kind of strategized and cleaned up from all of the madness that ensued from the market, the bull cycle that we ran through. But yeah, Daniel's been explaining everything so well, and just really stoked on the vision of the project and the way that everything is kind of merging, and been talking with the community a bit and getting to them, and we have a bunch more stuff that we're going to be releasing soon. But just kind of creating one space for people to come to that's really simple. And I think that with all that happened in Web3, honestly, I think that the NFT market and the NFT projects that launched, for the most part, I would say failed pretty miserably as to like showcase themselves to the world, and there was like a really good stage and everyone got greedy and everything got blown out of proportion, and a lot of people made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. A lot of promises are made and not much was really, like, I don't think really delivered that's bringing actual value to the people. And so rethinking that and figuring out the best way to move forward. And since the beginning of what we were doing, we've always been most stoked about digital, physical, virtual integration and how this tech will lead us into the future, into a more sustainable planet and a more sustainable ecosystem, more sustainable resources. And I think that NFT proved a very potent use case for digital assets, for purchasing things via currencies online, and for transferring assets, and for provenance. And so big pictures, we're just creating a doorway, a portal, a space between. And I think that Web 2 and Web 3 need to connect, and there needs to be a very easy way for people to onboard into the space instead of having all the different like wallet configurations and tokens and dexes, and it's just all so much, and Discords and Twitter and all this, and it does kind of like consume your life a bit. And so like making it, if I want to go and like buy like a t-shirt from some like company that I like their company doesn't like consume my life to like keep up with everything that's happening. And so I think coming from a much more like centered, balanced space and allowing people to enter an ecosystem and understand everything that's there and be like, oh, here's my friends, and here's like some projects that I like, and here's a way that I can like buy things, a way that I could like obtain a physical item, and here's how I can post and share and all this type of stuff. Is what we're going after, and being the front end use case for what's happening in Web3, and being able to collaborate and connect in with other brands, other chains, projects, and be inclusive and allow different people to connect within our space.
For sure, and you touched on some things, some wonderful things that I love to talk about. You mentioned we kind of blew it in the beginning here with this whole NFT thing. I feel like I'm obviously paraphrasing. You did not say those words, but we were given we were given the opportunity to kind of present NFTs in a certain light. And you're right. I think we got greedy, right? I think we kind of blew it to a lot of people, to where now when I have to say NFT in a conversation outside of this space, people roll their eyes, people look at me strange, they say, oh, really? Like things like that, to where I feel like that wouldn't have happened presented the right way. So I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. What are some ways that you guys are trying to use your platform to remedy that? I know you mentioned you guys are trying to come up with some stuff, but could you give us any kind of concrete like things that you're trying to make things more digestible for the greater good?
Yeah, I think for one, the feeless marketplace and the community builder, allowing anyone to mint a collection code, allowing anyone to basically become a smart contract developer. We also have a generator tool we're working on where anyone can plug in their assets and not need to code all of the rarities and different things like that. They just simply add in the fields. So just bringing the tools and the distribution just more available and reducing the friction of adoption. And then I think from there it's the new rush of people to Web3 are going to come in probably a little bit more aware that things aren't worth a bunch of money just because we think that they should be, and people are going to be a little smarter, I think, with the assets they carry. And I think things are going to be priced a little smarter. Like I don't think there's going to be like 7 ETH initial mints and stuff quite as much. So I think people are just going to come in a little bit more grounded. It's kind of like just getting a second shot at something. So I think there's like a balance of just like society being aware of reality a little bit more, and realizing that we kind of got burned on just assuming that everything was amazing just because they said they would build a metaverse. Most of them didn't. So now it's kind of like, all right, how does the common creator, the common person, build their own ecosystem and their own business and offer it on their terms to people, whether they want it to be Web 2 or Web 3, that's up to them. But just making it more readily available, I think, is the answer.
Brilliant. No, I love that. So another thing is that you guys are trying to create a platform where everyone comes to it. Right now, I always have to remember NFTnerds.ai. I have to remember premint.xyz. It started to become .io, .ai, .xyz. .com sometimes, and I have to remember all these links, and of course we have bookmarks and stuff, but if I'm just on my phone on the fly and I really want to check something out, I have to remember these links. But I also know that there are bad actors out there, right? There are malicious people, so I always have to second guess, oh wait, I don't use is it .xy or is it .ai, or maybe this is a fake site that I'm linking to. I know some very early on OpenSea had an issue where when you Googled OpenSea, it took you to an ad that was a fake OpenSea site that was malicious, right? So I see a lot of ways having a lot of tools integrated into one platform being super beneficial. But on the other side, I also see it kind of being an issue. So let's for example, let's take premint.yz. They just had a malicious actor utilize their website to make people sign a contract that drained their wallets, right? They've had to go through and pay a bunch of people out via compensation. So I also see some ways where that could be an issue. Could you tell us how you guys are trying to mitigate risk with an all-inclusive platform in terms of security?
I think that to start, our team and one of our lead architects that we work with for building everything out, he built like very extensive blockchain systems for NASA and other companies. So we're very careful with the way we do things. That's why we work a lot slower, and that's why like a lot of the infrastructure that we're building on that you see on the app maybe isn't like the most like beautiful on the front or doesn't have the most features yet. It's because we're building like a very solid framework and architecture for how this is going to be built in the future. So it is very secure. And then also it's like we're going to be integrating not just like fully inclusive, like we're doing everything, but we're also going to be like integrating like other apps and people. So it's like you're never going to be able to say, oh, like can OpenSea not get hacked, or can this not get hacked, or can that? It's like, but you can put everything at least into one space where people can talk and have one thing that they do know. They're like, okay, I know that this page is solid, and like these are the people I trust, and here's my friends and what they're posting, instead of having to kind of like pull pieces from all these different things. It's like we can take a puzzle and like put that into one picture so people can see, and then they can make a much better like guided decision as to what they're doing.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to add here is, for example, with the Access tool, the community builder, that's secure through your own wallet. And so people can't hack that as nearly as easy as a Discord or a Twitter. And like Zayla said, one of our lead architects and engineers, he built blockchain infrastructure for banks that moved hundreds of billions through it and did blockchain security for NASA. So we're very, very careful. Everything's audited. Everything's like super dialed through before anything's launched. And then you also have the vetting process and kind of like totem picks of communities. So as we onboard these, in about 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to start onboarding accesses, and we have a list of collections that will go live, and there'll be a way to see that they've been verified and that we've been working with them, or that we kind of vet them. It'll be like a verification process too. So kind of like the App Store, it'll have this like standard to make projects go live and become verified. And then the fact that they're all hosted in one space that's secured by individual wallets, that kind of provides an extra layer of security for sure.
Awesome. And I know that those kinds of questions aren't necessarily the easiest to answer. It's just, again, with you guys having kind of an all-encompassing tool, it kind of came up in my head there. I also want to be clear, please, if anyone in the audience if you have any questions at all, please go ahead and enter it in this little chat feature here on the space here in the right corner. But the next question that I had was in terms of decentralization, right? We talk about Web3, we talk about decentralization. A lot of people feel that a lot of these marketplaces have taken decentralization into their own hands, and things are not decentralized, right? OpenSea, Nate Chastain, the whole ordeal with him. Now Coinbase is having people being investigated for fraud there too. What importance is it for your all's platform to be decentralized, to be non-biased in that terms, with a lot of like the projects you're onboarding and things like that? What's the process there?
Yeah. So obviously we've been building and dreaming of getting into blockchain since the beginning, and the technology that it provides, which is like, whether you call it decentralization or democratization, it's definitely the future. And so we are fully in that direction. And I don't think there's anyone on the team with ill intentions or just like profit hungry. So I think we're in good hands as far as like who's leading the boat for now. But anytime we can get a DAO in place and start to automate and democratize everything, that's where we plan to move everything in that direction. So yeah, it's kind of a broad question as far as like I plan to decentralize, because there's so many moving parts. But that's definitely like fully our mission is to create, like we say, that Totem's goal is to be the global DAO. And so that would be chosen and created by the creators, which is the members. And so their best interest in keeping them happy is in our best interest. I guess that's the best way to put it, is if in order to become the global DAO, we need to be trusted.
Yeah, and I think that on a broad spectrum vision, talking about, what happened at OpenSea or like stuff with Coinbase, and it's like, yeah, like things are going to come up in a space, like regardless. I mean, if we start diving into, what's happening with, this centralized currencies and banks and everything, it's freaking astronomical as to what's happening. And so we're not going to be able ever to, I don't think, fix everything in one time. It's not like it's going to be this like immediate, like everything's fixed and like everything's decentralized. And I also don't really think that everything needs to be decentralized, so to speak. Like you need to have a decentralized framework, but there's certain things that, if you post a picture, it's like there's no reason that like a picture needs to be like minted on chain necessarily, or like someone's like making a comment doesn't need to be on chain. So like there's things that need to be centralized, and that don't need to be centralized, and there's things that need to be decentralized. And so it's like figuring out the best avenue for that. And I think one of the main problems in the blockchain space and what's happened is that for the most part, everyone kind of like dove in everything, and there hasn't been a clear understanding of how things work. And if people understand how things work and the steps that they need to take and the process, then there will be a lot less people like losing money and giving up their wallet keys or getting hacked, or, things happening with, OpenSea and like this kind of stuff. So it's like, I think the money kind of blinded everyone, and everyone just kind of ran in and they didn't care. And they're just like, oh, well, yeah, I'll make money, I'll lose money, but like there's way more upside than there is downside. And then of course on the other side of the spectrum, after crashes, you're like, oh man, like, I shouldn't have done that. But so it's just like finding that middle space, and that's what we want to do, is just like keep that balance and know that why we're here and the reason that we showed up in the space is to create change and to make something that's really cool and that can affect a lot of people and create a lot of change for the planet.
Yeah, and I think another thing is just like, it's not necessarily decentralizing, it's just finding we trust and dissolving corruption. And that's ultimately the goal as a species, and with everything we're doing, is to dissolve corruption. And if it needs to be decentralized, great, but it needs to innovate, and it needs to move quickly, and it needs to be led, and there needs to be trust there. So that's why we're here, and we have to make decisions, and not everything is voted on, obviously.
I don't know why, and this is so goofy, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but what you had just said reminds me of, if anyone ever watched Pokemon, to protect the world from devastation, to unite all people within our nation. And I don't know why, but that is what came out of my head. You said that Team Rocket mantra, but in a positive way. Please understand that.
Wait, yo, can we hear that one more time?
That's amazing.
That was a good quote. Just one more time.
To protect the world from devastation, to unite all people within our nation.
Boom.
You got us. We're Team Rocket.
Again, I meant that in a positive way, not in a negative way. That speech is really positive for some weird reason. Anyway, I do have a question here in the chat, and it's hilarious. Joy to the World said there was also an attack on MetaMask Polygon network, which Citizen also runs on this blockchain. Were there any added securities or changes made to this to address this? And it's funny because his question triggered 11 comments, 2 retweets, and like 3 likes from bots. It's a hilarious kind of example of how crazy Twitter is right now. But we'll go ahead to the question though.
Yeah, I mean, we really were just running test beta on Polygon with like one thing, so there's not really much for us to do there. I mean, we've mostly been running on ETH and BNB on the back end, and then we're integrating like what that looks like with other chains. But as far as chain integration and security through people like Polygon or BNB or like other top chains, like we will be working directly with the chains that we are integrating. So we're not just going to be, of course, like we're like not ETH is just like a very open, secure network, and we're working on that. But on the other networks, we're going to be like working directly with them to make sure that we understand exactly what's happening and the best ways to prevent things like that, or having like firsthand updates from the chains as to things that are problems that they're having, so we can mitigate that.
Excellent. I figured there wasn't too much to that answer that you guys could do, but the question was asked all the same. So I'm not getting any more questions from the audience here, but I did want to quickly ask: is there maybe something like exciting about this project that maybe we haven't brushed up on that you guys wanted to make sure that people kind of left the space understanding?
I'll let Daniel throw down on that, and then I'll hop in.
Yeah, we'll be announcing some really cool things probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks with different partners and with what we're doing with this raise. And we're extending our burn rate to about 3 to 5 years, depending on how each quarter goes. But we're getting really like set up to be relevant in the market. We're working on some really cool soulbound token stuff. I think will be the premier use case for soulbound tokens, and there's a lot of blockchain networks that are stoked on the front end that we can provide them. So yeah, I'm just stoked and grateful for the Zoids and all the community that we've been a part of, CQs and hologenetics and whatnot. So just grateful for their patience and trust. And yeah, the best thing you can do is just hop into the Discord for now, and depending on how curious and Web3 hungry you are, just jump in, mint a holo, and hang out with the Zoids. They'll guide you through everything you need. If you have any questions or ideas or concerns, there's always someone on the team in the chats. And yeah, we're just excited to build ideas and bring to life our vision, which is ultimately just a place that everyone can come work together. Because the metaverse is here, and it's wild.
And it's wild. I love that.
It is wild.
I'd say, like first and foremost to cut through all of the, fancy words and blockchain and interoperability and, all this type of like tech things. It's like at the end of the day, we as a team, me, Daniel and Xander came together and then, have built this team with each other. And it's like our core principles and our core values are community and friendship, and so we're here humbly like to connect with people like yourself and people who are in this chat, and people in the Web3 space who are here for that, and so at the end of the day, we're all learning and we're all growing together, and that's what we want to cultivate and inspire, is a space where we can come together and we can grow, we can learn, we can drop art projects and make money and do things, but also we can really make a huge impact on the planet if this tech is used correctly. If the decentralized tech at its core, has the ability to shift the way that we look at money and the way that money is transferred on a large scale throughout our planet. And so being able to use that to stay true to the values and the morals that created this space and to connect with people who are on that same mission.
Yo, if that jungle noise isn't just so relaxing.
It was kind of awe-inspiring to hear what he was saying with that as the background. I was kind of like, man, that's very cinematic.
Recording live from Hawaii.
We found Zayla in the jungle. Like, literally, he lived in the jungle before we met him.
That's true. Facts. I'm a jungle creature. They pulled me out of the jungle into a whole new world.
The convergence of time.
A year in the jungle with no service, no phones, no nothing. So it's always refreshing hearing Zayla's approach and philosophy on tech in general. Just wanted to add a quick little side note, just kind of like some quick thought came to mind is how excited I am to release our first hardcover Opal book, which is basically our white paper. And it's fun. Just side note, how we're able to leverage NFTs as pre-sales and deliver a hardcover book coming up soon. So just proud of the team and proud of the philosophy and working with Daniel and Zayla and, grabbing the quotes and the designs and to really, push this mission and this vision forward. And then to be able to categorize it, organize it, and design it into a book. I think it's going to be a really cool part of our legacy and something that we're excited to share as a friend to the world.
And I'm sorry that hardcover book is like a white paper. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, exactly. So instead of, obviously a lot of people everyone has their white papers listed somewhere. And so to go read and understand someone's vision is definitely an important part of any project. And so we, me and myself, Daniel and Zayla, we all consider artists at its core. And we all, Daniel makes music. He's got an album on Spotify. Zayla's got crazy designs and works with gold and makes really cool rings. Just as our side hobbies and our passions. And my passion definitely lies within short films and creating video content and telling stories. And so it's fun to collaborate with my two best friends / artists / business partners who, we're all able to come together and create a philosophy together on DAOs and just like tokenization and just everything. What does decentralization look like? What's our plans? And so we've put together over the last couple months a really exciting hardcover book to kind of calculate everything. We do have our white paper posted, but this one's going to be special because it's actually printed. And anyone who's got that NFT, whenever we decide to set the forge, we'll be able to grab a hardcover book of this kind of like beautiful vision that we're all putting our whole lives into.
And I don't know if it's available, but I think you can go stake Citizen and you get a free book airdrop to you after your staking period. I'm not sure if it's still available, but that's how you get an Opal.
Yeah, someone just shared a picture of the Opal NFT in the chat. Maddie did, and it is incredible. Well done. I love the way that looks. It looks pretty crazy. Again, for anyone listening, you can click on the chat here in the right hand corner and see what they're referring to there. So that's great. Well, I don't have any more questions. It doesn't look like the chat has any more questions, and I think you guys did a pretty great summary of finishing wrapping things up. I do want to give you guys a last word here, if you'd like, while we kind of roll out. But the conversation has been fantastic, y'all. The project looks super amazing. Super amazing. That's such a weird to say that. The project looks great. And the team seems very capable, very chill, and very together. I love the fact that you guys are all together right now in the Alps too. That's just kind of a dope thing that I don't feel like a lot of projects work on is team building. So I love that aspect. But I'll let you guys have the last word. But otherwise, thank you guys for joining this space. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my last word is thank you, and appreciate you. And that was a great call. If anyone has any questions, just tag us in the chat, tag us in Discord. And the Zoids are there hanging out per usual, and I'm not always chill, so don't hold me to that.
And again, if anyone's looking for more information on the project, I think the best way to do it is you can just go at Totem Earth on Twitter, and they have a link tree that you can literally see everything. You can go straight to the website and get there too. So it's an easy way to remember it. But again, thank you very much, and you guys have a great time in the Alps.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it so much. Thanks, everybody.